Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the upcoming chapter of 1054 of One Piece. And now that we have the information about the events of the chapter, we can kind of get an idea of really what's going to be taking place in this first chapter of having nearly a month of no One Piece. As with all of our speculation and spoiler videos, please keep in mind that there still could be slight differences in the actual manga when we see it this weekend, and also that there could be a different order of events. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've been around for a bunch of episodes, we'd be absolutely honored if you consider leaving us a like, or even subscribing and leaving us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content, and if you'd like to help us out in a bigger way, consider sharing the channel or the video with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So friends, chapter 1054, our upcoming chapter, is going to be called The Emperor of Flames, and it starts in the Flower Capital, where the party is going on for everything that just transpired in Onigashima. And Kinemon and some of the other Red Scabbards are shown together in this celebration. The Scabbards then realize that someone is approaching the city, and afraid that it could be another threat, Kinemon runs to inform Luffy and his friends about this unknown person that is approaching. So they go out to meet this mysterious person. We then see that this mysterious person is, of course, Admiral Ryukugyu, and he continues walking quietly in the direction of the Flower Capital. Now, while walking, he's thinking about that the ability to influence other people is really quite a difficult skill to learn. While Ryukugyu is stuck in his thoughts, Raizo, Shinobu, Inunarashi, Denjiro, Nekomamushi, and Kawamatsu appear right in front of him, preventing the Admiral from continuing to his final destination. Ryukugyu, still with a very calm expression, asks the samurai not to get in his way, and Raizo then realizes that this man in front of him must be someone important from the Marines, and Denjiro says that this man was an enemy of Luffy's. The Admiral begins to prepare an attack while asking the samurai what they know about the outside world. Ryukugyu says that the Celestial Dragons are the god of this world, and a country like theirs that is not affiliated with the world government has no rights. And then he apologizes, but says that this is how the world works. Ryukugyu then puts his hand on the ground and starts producing all sorts of plants to attack the samurai that are standing in front of him. He uses a technique called the Forbidden Hate Forest, and while attacking, the Admiral says that he is the user of the Morimori-no-Mi, the fruit of the forest man, and with this fruit, he becomes nature itself, the father of all life, as well as the ocean. A special detail that is imparted in the panel is the kanji of Logia is used, representing that his devil fruit is a Logia nature. And Ryukugyu continues to speak, saying that he will give a lesson to mankind, that they needed to create inferior creatures to live, because everyone is able to survive despite the unaffiliated countries, and discrimination is what gives a stability to the world. Next, we see Ryukugyu turn into kind of a giant tree and attacks the Red Scabbards with branches and roots of all sizes, and the Scabbards defend themselves while Ryukugyu continues his speech. He goes on to say that countless people could lose their lives in this country and no law would be broken. So he tells them to be prepared because, if necessary, he will take the lives of thousands of people in order to capture Monkey D. Luffy. Next, we see Yamato appear behind the Red Scabbards, and quickly, Yamato goes and hits Ryukugyu in the head with his kanabo, taking the Admiral to the ground. Yamato says that everything this Admiral said is unforgivable, and we next see Yamato's blow was actually able to hurt Ryukugyu. The Admiral praises Yamato, saying that this person possessed a very strong haki, and Yamato says that the country of Wano for 20 years suffered under the tyranny of Orochi and Kaido, and now that the country is finally free, Yamato would never allow anyone to interrupt this well-deserved celebration. Ryukugyu responds by asking who the hell is Yamato, and Yamato then replies that he is Yamato, son of Kaido. Ryukugyu then repeats the words, asking if Yamato was really Kaido's son. Momonosuke then joins the battlefield in his dragon form, and he says that he agrees with Yamato, that Momonosuke would not allow the Admiral to lay a finger on the recovering heroes in Wano. Ryukugyu looks at Momonosuke and is quite intrigued to see a dragon in front of him. So Momonosuke then uses his Boro Breath, trying to imitate Kaido, but he fails to use his attack, leaving Ryukugyu kinda surprised. Ryukugyu questions him, asking him what was that supposed to be, seeing that his attack had failed. So Momonosuke runs towards Ryukugyu and bites him. So Momonosuke tries to get Ryukugyu away from the Flower Capital because he doesn't want fear to go back into his people's hearts again. The Admiral's surprised to see a pink dragon because it seems like he's he's never heard of this kind of ability before. So he tells Momonosuke to get out of his way and wraps his body with several giant branches to stop him. Yamato moves to help Momonosuke. However, Momonosuke tells Yamato to stay out of it, which leaves Yamato quite confused, not knowing what to do. But after this brief dialogue, the chapter then cuts to a sea near the country of Wano. In this sea, we see the ship of the red-haired pirates, and part of Shanks' crew says that they want to see Luffy since he's finally become a great pirate. And Shanks reminisces back to the last time he was at sea in the country of Wano, when they finally parted ways with Odin. Shanks thinks to himself that Momonosuke and Hiyori should be adults by now. And his pirates start insisting that they want to see Luffy, and Lucky Roo and Bong Punch start asking Shanks to go to Wano to reunite with Luffy. But Yasop says to wait, because he said he isn't mentally prepared to meet his son Usopp again. And the Lime Juice asks if Kid was also still in Wano, because they had just fought that pirate not long ago. While his companions are talking, Shanks looks at Luffy's wanting poster and says, "So that's it." And a little flashback starts, and we see that the red-haired pirate's ship is chasing a marine ship. Ben Beckman informs Shanks that there are some CP9 members on the ship, but Shanks doesn't seem to care about this information. Then Shanks orders them to attack the ship, and while still young, Who's Who asks the pirates what they want, since there really is no treasure on the battleship. Who's Who says that they only have one just despicable devil fruit, and then we see in a basket the Gomu Gomu no Mi. The flashback continues with Shanks remembering some of the scenes with Luffy in Fuchsia Village, and the moment he sacrificed his arm to save him. And then we come to the present, where we see him touching the space where his arm was. Some of the newer crew members who weren't there at the time when the red-haired pirates had met Luffy were surprised to learn that they both knew each other, because they'd heard all kinds of rumors about Luffy, such as that Luffy was just this unstoppable monkey monster. Shanks tells his companions, saying that he has no intention of meeting with Luffy. But Lucky Roo speaks in an extended way, surprised by this speech of Shanks. And then the red-haired asks him if they remembered what is happening in their territories right now. Howling Gab replies yes, that a guy named Barto, or something like that, a pirate who's supposed to be Luffy's subordinate, burned his flags and switched it to Luffy's. And Shanks says that they needed to go settle this matter, because if he didn't do something, the credibility of the red-haired pirates would be ruined. We next see Shanks sit down at a table next to Ben Beckman, and he pours himself a drink. And he looks at Beckman and says that he thinks it's time to get them together for the fight for the One Piece. The scene then changes to the New World's Marine headquarters, and a meeting is going on. And an unknown sailor tells Akainu that they can't allow the revolutionaries to just keep doing things as they please. But Akainu replies that he already knows, but they just don't have enough troops for everything. In this meeting, we see that Akainu, Kizaru, and the unknown sailor are at this meeting, and the unknown sailor says that there's this guy named Sabo, the Emperor of the Flames, and he's now a hero all over the world, and that Nefertari Cobra was the only member of the 20 Kingdoms that founded the world government 800 years ago that had participated in the revelry. Because Nefertari had lost his life to a revolutionary, it becomes a great achievement for them. And while the unknown sailor says this, we see a newspaper headline that says Sabo had taken the life of King Nefertari Cobra of the Alabasta Kingdom. So then, the unknown sailor tells about what happened at Mary Joie while the revelry was being celebrated. He goes on to say that a few hours before the king had lost his life, in the residential area of the Celestial Dragons, more specifically in the land of the gods where the emblem of the world nobles is, the hand of the Celestial Dragons was destroyed, and this was taken as a declaration of war against the Celestial Dragons. As he speaks, we see a scene where the flag that has the crest of the Celestial Dragons on top of a building is burned during the incident in which Sabo participated, being the main cause of this confrontation. The unknown sailor goes on to talk about the Marine soldiers commanded by Admiral Ryukugyu and Fujitora had attended to the nobles' needs, but in the end, the revolutionaries were able to free Bartholomew Kuma, who of course was a former revolutionary who had had his freedom taken away by the Celestial Dragons. And also, all revolutionaries were able to escape. It's likely that the admirals probably couldn't fight properly or use all of their power in the land of the gods, since of course their power could cause great destruction along the whole area, or worse, could hit one of the world nobles. Akainu says that this mysterious sailor didn't need to make excuses on their behalf. But Akainu questions what are they going to do about the disappearance of Princess Vivi, which of course happened along with the king losing his life because of the attack. We see again a newspaper headline about Vivi's disappearance, and the unknown sailor is introduced, a man with white hair and sunglasses. His codename is Kuruma, which means Black Horse. He is the head of the Marine's Criminal Investigation Service, and his real name is introduced to us as Tensei. So Kuruma says that they are still investigating the disappearance of the princess and its possible connection to the incidents that occurred. Akainu then says that Alabasta's probably being plunged into chaos right now for having lost their king and princess in a mysterious disappearance. But Kuruma says that their ship is still in the Red Port, but he doesn't think it's the right time to return it to them. Kizaru then asks if the incident on the attack of the village of St. Charlos had been solved. But Kuruma says that as for Saint Moscard and how he helped the suspect escape, there was a trial going on in the land of the gods in which the God Knight intervened, something that made things a bit more complicated. Akainu says to let them do what they want, but Kuruma goes on to say that the rumors about Sabo being the one behind all these incidents are causing the 8-Nation Revolution and that are aimed at the return of world leaders and the sparks rebellions around the world, that they are starting to treat Sabo like a god. On the last page, we see a giant panel of Sabo where several men are praising and applauding this image of him, the so-called Emperor of Flames, and Kuruma says that his influence has even surpassed dragons. Kizaru adds that at this very moment, his little brother, Sabo's little brother, Luffy, had just become a Yonko. And the scene changes where we see a revolutionary saying that the old system was destroyed by the Flame Emperor's little brother, that this era is changing. And then the chapter ends with Akainu looking at the sea from his office, saying that it seems that he became a fleet admiral at a bad time, but it didn't matter because he will end it all. So there you have it, friends, the complete rundown of chapter 1054. And I know if you're like me, we're all very excited to have One Piece back after this well-deserved break of Otis. So for now, let us know what you think about it. What scenes are you most excited about? What do you think is going to happen between Momo and Green Bull? Do you think that there's going to be something there? And do you think that he's really going to burn it all down just to get to Luffy? And finally, what do you think what happened at the revelry? And what could be going on? And why would a celestial dragon help the revolutionaries escape? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap things up, I want to thank you all so much for watching the video all the way up to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, why don't you give us a like or hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.